Hi Pisces, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your August 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, the Celtic Crossbred as always, and I'll pull an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys, but we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. Alright, so let's see what we get. Alright, so we have the 8th house. So for you guys, that's actually a Libra. And as far as astrology goes, Venus will be in that sign around the middle of the month, and then I think Mercury toward the very end of August. We have Cancer energy. So for you guys, that's your 5th house, romance, creativity, and children. And we have Mars. And Mars is actually in the opposite sign. It will be pretty much for the entire month of August. So, and part of September as well. Alright, so we'll keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. Looks a little dark here in the beginning. It does seem to clear up a bit, but we'll talk through it. Alright, in the main situation position, we have the 10 of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here, which for you guys is your 4th house of home, family. So for some of you, this could just be saying that, maybe if there's been some family conflict that could be coming to an end, possibly if you guys have been considering moving, that's another thing that could be coming to an end for you guys as well, as far as making a decision around that. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with this. Now, if this is around communication, I would say just try to be mindful of communication this month, especially around the time of the Leo new moon, which I think is around the 8th or 9th of the month, depending on where you are. And the reason I say that is because it's going to be squaring Uranus, which is in Taurus, and that's your house communication. So definitely be some erratic communications around that time, so be on the lookout for that. Alright, in the Challenger obstacle position, we have the Death card. So this is the major arcana card for Scorpio, and I feel like what this is primarily saying is whatever descending is, I feel like this is something that's kind of been overdue anyway. So like I said, it could just be as simple as something you've been thinking about for a long time. Did you want to move? Did you want to renovate your house? Something along those lines. Was there some family conflict that you needed to possibly address? Whatever the case, it looks like this is saying that it's kind of long overdue for this to come to an end, this cycle. Looking at the energies I'm seeing here, it might actually come to the surface this month to be dealt with as well. But let's see if anything else comes to mind with this. And this could just be saying that, this is 9th house energy for you guys, Scorpio. So it could just be saying that maybe you've been overanalyzing the situation too. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Alright. In the foundation position, we have the Tower and the 2 of Cups. So no one likes to see the Tower in the spread, especially in the foundation. But to see the 2 of Cups come after that, this is definitely a positive. So it could just be saying that some dark energy needs to clear for you guys, and once it does, we can see the huge contrast in energy there. So I could see this playing out a few different ways, especially because this is Cancer energy, and we did see that come up in the dice as well. This could just be saying that maybe if there's someone you recently started dating, this is just a super generic example, but it'll get the point across of what I'm seeing with these energies. Let's say you've been dating someone, right? And you might have put the whole situation on a pedestal, like, oh, we're going to be married in 3 months, or, just something like that, where you got a little bit ahead of yourselves, and there might be a Tower moment. So it could be as simple as, especially given that we saw the 10 of Swords there, you guys have your first big argument, you know what I mean? And sometimes people feel like that's the end of the world when they have their first big argument when they're in a couple. But then I feel like this is saying with that 2 of Cups, especially since the 2 is a much lower energy, right? It's just like a fresh start. I feel like this is saying that it'll give you guys the reset button where you're actually going to see the situation a lot more clearly, and that's actually going to benefit the connection. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with this. That's primarily what I'm seeing, and just like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic connection. It could be a friendship, a partnership, in business, you name it, but that's just the overall vibe I'm getting there, where maybe you had it elevated a little bit higher than it needed to be at this point, but in the long run, coming to that realization is actually going to benefit things. Alright. In the past position, we have the Devil. So this is actually Capricorn energy here. And I will say, well, for you guys, that's your 11th house. So for some of you, this can be around a friendship. So maybe it's a friend that you've had around for a while and maybe you wanted to take things to another level with them. That's one way I could see it playing out. But this could just be saying that this might be a cycle you've been caught in for a while too. So, for example, maybe that's a bit of a pattern you guys might have, right? Where maybe you meet someone, things seem to start off really well, but then you like get a little bit ahead of yourselves and see it going, you like take it 10 steps ahead of where it is at the current moment, and then that could end up causing issues within the connections. See if anything else comes to mind with this. Now, think back to anything significant that might have happened around the Capricorn full moon, too, given that this is in the past, because maybe that's what this is pointing to as well, as far as what's going to be coming to an end for you guys now. All right. In the present position, we have the Fool. So, at the very least, it's a much lighter energy. The only cautionary thing, again, would be, like I said, if that's just a pattern where you guys have been in repeatedly, where you kind of, jump into things too fast and get ahead of yourselves as far as, you have this vision for these things and you operate off of that. Could just be saying that's the one thing to watch out for. But yeah, if this is like a situation you've needed to free yourselves from, like I said with that Ten of Swords and the Death card, I feel like this is something that's probably been overdue to shift anyway. And then seeing the Tower and the Two of Cups too, this is definitely like that. It's going to feel much more like a lighter, free energy that you guys are going to experience. All right. In the near future position, we have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy, Justice, which is Libra energy, Six of Wands, which is Leo energy, and the Eight of Pentacles. So, I mean, really, really positive energy in these cards. Maybe the Eight of Pentacles isn't as exciting, right? But overall, I mean, we see the dark there, right with the Devil. You could see the similarities between the two, but at the same time, the huge contrast, right? You have the masculine and feminine energies there, someone behind the scenes. We see it's a much lighter energy here. So looks like whatever this is, it could definitely be cleared up in a much more positive way. Balance can be restored. If that's the case, this could be timeline-wise, because like I said, we will see Venus move into your 8th house. And we did see that pop up here too. So once that Venus transit starts in Libra around the middle of the month, you might actually start to see things clear up and see things from a much more positive perspective, right? Feeling that sense of victory around the situation and actually working toward the situation. And this is the first 10 degrees of Virgo. So for some of you, it could just be saying that this is going to take place as we get toward the end of August. Now, for obviously, if this is around some kind of a career dynamic too, like I said, it was primarily coming across as home and family, maybe one-to-one relationships. But if it's a career situation as well, it looks like there's definitely going to be some positive progress there too, given that for you guys, this is 6th house energy. And then this energy represents work as well. So for some of you, you could have a lot more freedom within your job. So for some of you, might be you actually start your own business. But for others, you could just be one of those things where you might get a promotion that allows you a little bit more freedom to work on things the way you want to. All right. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the 5 of Wands. So Leo energy here. Obviously, we see a bit of a conflict type energy. Now, given that we also see the 5 of Swords in the environment, which is the exact opposite, this is the Leo energy, the Aquarius energy. This makes me think of the fact that right when Leo season starts, there's going to be a full moon in Aquarius in the first 10 degrees. So be on the lookout for that. There could definitely be some conflict that might come up around that time, especially for you guys that's in your 12th house too. So you might not be seeing things clearly at the time. So try to, measure yourselves as far as communication goes around that time. If you feel like there's a conflict bubbling up to the surface, this might just be saying that this is a good time to just, free yourselves from that, right, with that full energy and watch things work out much more positively as opposed to staying in these darker energies we see there. Yeah, that's pretty much all that comes to mind there. All right, in the environment position, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but like I said, this is the first 10 degrees of Aquarius, and like I said, this definitely looks like could be some people in their environment who aren't healed, basically. And whenever that's the case, they might bring things your way, and then it could turn into conflict, and you might try to reason with these people, but it wouldn't really work out in your favor. So usually the best thing to do is to walk away in those types of dynamics if you can. Now, I will say what's interesting for you guys too is, like I was saying, there's going to be that the Aquarius full moon right at the start of Leo season, and then there's going to be a second one toward the end of Leo season. So you're going to have two full moons in your 12th house, which is a rare thing. So I would say that second full moon, especially, it's going to be right with Jupiter. So anything that goes wrong early on with that first Aquarius full moon, if you play your cards right, just let things clear on their own. By the time we get to that second Aquarius full moon, you should have a much more positive outlook on the situation. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Six of Cups, Scorpio energy, Ace of Wands, Strength, Leo energy, and Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. So I'm going to assume this is a hope of yours, and this is Scorpio energy there, and then with the Ace of Wands, so it could just be saying that maybe you want to have a fresh start with someone, maybe you do want to reconcile something. So going back to the example I gave you, where I was saying if you guys recently started a relationship and you have your first big argument, right, and it feels like the end of the world, it could just be saying that you actually might want to extend an olive branch there to reconnect with this person, to have the fresh start, right? With the Leo season, it could just be saying that there is the potential for that, but I feel like you guys are going to be holding back a little bit, especially with this Four of Pentacles energy too. So, which is fine. Like I said, it looks like a lot of this energy will be clearing out on its own. So, especially earlier on in the month, to take a step back might not be the worst thing anyway. And then I feel like naturally with these energies, you're going to feel the shift to the point where as we get a little bit later into the month, you're probably going to feel more comfortable coming forward. And speaking of which, in the outcome position, we have the Knight of Swords. So yeah, I would say, if anything, especially given what we spoke about with the astrological energies, if it doesn't feel right to you early in the month, then trust that. As we get later in the month, you'll probably feel like, okay, now I feel ready. I know what to say. I know how to say it, right? I thought it through. I'm going to come forward now. So that could be what that's pointing to there. And if anything, with this representing Gemini energy, just the Ten of Swords, looks like it's saying even if you do experience some kind of a setback with the Ten of Swords, we see Knight of Swords. Well, we have the Page of Swords next, and then the Knight of Swords after that. So it looks like even whatever this is, I don't think it's going to keep you guys down for long. So looks like you guys will be back on the move fairly soon. All right, and the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess. So usually I view this as one of the Pisces cards, and this definitely represents intuition. So again, like I said, really try to tap into your intuition and trust your intuition this month. So again, if you're in some kind of environment and something doesn't feel right, then definitely trust that instinct, and like I said, it looks like things will mostly clear out on their own. Like I said, this to me most likely is going to point to one of 2 points. One could be right at the very beginning of Leo season, so for those of you who watched this when I first posted, watch out for that first full moon, or during that Leo new moon too. Like I said, the energy is going to be pretty erratic there, so watch out for that as well. But as we get later into the month, it looks like things will be improving for sure. All right, moving on to your oracle card, we have the Tribe. There's the artwork, and the number is 8. So interesting too. A lot of significance. We see the 8 there. The 8 came up in your dice. August is the 8th month of the year, so a lot of significance around that. We also saw the Strength card somewhere in the spread. I don't remember where exactly, but so definitely a lot going on for you guys this month. But under essential meanings, it says community, belonging, being seen and understood by others, like-minded connections, a sense of family and friendship, knowing your place in the world. The Oracle's message. This card signals a new affiliation with a group. Humans are social creatures, and we need to know we are useful to our tribes, families, and communities. In a tribe, everyone has an important function and feels I matter. Membership in the group provides a sense of belonging, of kinship, and purpose that comes from working together for the greater fulfillment of all. Perhaps you are part of a spiritual community or an artistic one. Perhaps you are in a learning community where you share your love of education. Regardless of its form or focus, your community brings you joy. You will be inspired by it and want to contribute to it. Your contribution may be as small as showing up or as large as becoming its leader. No matter your position in the tribe, your presence is needed. So definitely a pretty positive message there, and hopefully that resonated with you guys. And then the relationship message says you're discovering the essential qualities that you share with another, and perhaps also those you don't share. There are times when you follow and the other person leads, and times when you lead and the other follows. The appearance of this card points to the importance of learning the proper dance between you and another. Accepting the truth that everyone has flaws is part of that dance. Yet you are also being asked to be aware of the dynamics that you don't want to repeat. You're in the perfect place to make changes in order to experience the best version of who you can be together. So an interesting message there, especially when it was talking about you're being asked to be aware of the dynamics you don't want to repeat, because I did remember mentioning a possible repetitive cycle you guys might have been in previous situations, and then that could be what this energy is pointing to as well, where maybe both of you want to take the lead at times, and then that could cause the conflict between the two of you. So if that's the case, hopefully that message resonated. The prosperity message says, whenever you're in a community of like-minded others, there is a powerful opportunity to reap great abundance. It's essential to ask, what can I contribute, rather than what can I get from this? Figure out a need and look to fill it. Something meaningful will manifest. Even if what manifests is small, it's a sign that the doors of opportunity will swing open wider. There is also another meaning to this card to consider. Don't try to be all things to all people. Choose your role and be true to it, and serve from a sense of authenticity. There is no greater feeling of accomplishment than knowing you have purpose. So, pretty positive message there as well. And I will read the protection message just because, like I said, the energy here definitely does look a little crazy. Don't get me wrong, I see it too, but just what seems to come after it leads me to believe you guys are going to move out of energy pretty quickly. But we'll read the protection message just in case. It says, beware of compromising your integrity in order to belong. How do you dim your light or change yourself so others will accept you in the tribe? Do you hide who you really are in order to play a role within the larger whole? This will never fulfill you. Now is the time to assess your willingness to be real. Stand tall, be you. Authenticity is true self-expression and the only way to empower yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself and step into the role your heart tells you to take. Making yourself small bears too high a cost. So yeah, I mean, definitely a pretty positive message there. So hopefully that resonated with some of you, even if your situation isn't necessarily a bit rough. That just sounded like a good message overall. But we'll wrap it up with a Mudra card for you guys. So the Mudra you got this month is the Vyana Mudra. There it is there. Keyword for it is expansion. And there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot. But under benefits, it says regulates blood pressure, purifies the blood, decreases restlessness and insomnia, reduces redness and burning of the eyes. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, I'll put the name of the Mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.